Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us in Talking Points. You're receiving a politician and educationist, Dr. Nick Gwanyam. You're welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back with you here.
We've not heard from you for some time now. We're glad to receive you back.
Yeah, during the elections, I thought I should stay off the media because I could say something that would put me in trouble.
All right. Let's begin in the northwest region of the country with the explosion that occurred at in Bamenda yesterday, not far from the commercial venue ceremonial ground, which provoked panic across the town. When such an incident occurs not far from a heavily guarded area like the commercial avenue ceremonial ground, what can we read within the lines?
Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman labors in vain. So unless you put your trust in the Lord and do things according to the ways of the Lord, whatever you do is in vain. That's all I can say.
When we look at such incidents occurring in Bamenda, and then away from Bamenda, we have another incident occurring in Galim in the west region, close to the northwest region of the country, where 4 elements of the National Armed Forces were killed, 2 gendarmes and 2 police officers, allegedly by separatists who crossed over into the west region from the northwest region of the country. What can you say about the way things are evolving with regards to the crisis?
I'm not so sure who did that in Galim, because I hear some people of Bas saying that they're the ones who did it. And then I saw a video coming from a group in Oketungia saying they're the ones who did it. But according to some arguments, the arms that they were showing there, they seem to be more than what they would have gotten from Galim. So it looks like some people just trying to make capital out of it. But this is the bottom line. We are arguing and talking about the incidences. Oh, children have been killed in Gabu. There have been killing in Babanki. There have been this. This will be a pattern that we'll continue to see for a very long time. And there's no point trying to discuss events. What we should be doing now is to sit down and solve the problem. Because if we don't solve the problem, the devil will keep on pushing us to become more and more violent and do such things that are not acceptable unto the Lord. What you're going to see, probably the military might descend down there in Tundop and kill a lot more people, and then this one will kill this one, that one kill this one, and then everybody will keep piling the statistics and so on, and people will keep shouting. But when you look very carefully, who is dying? They are the poor that are dying. Even the military that are dying are the sons and daughters of poor families. But the real military people who have the money are not dying. They're sitting in air-conditioned offices. So they are the poor officers that are genial people that are dying there. Then the Anglophones are dying. Then whatever Amber Boys took, it's because it's a reaction to what it's a reaction because they don't have skills to do this, no work, no that. So it's not as simple as it looks. So what we ought to be doing, which makes sense, is for us to actually redefine and find out what that Anglophone problem is, find out whether the medicine that was given during the Grand National Dialogue is the right medication, because the Grand National Dialogue was supposed to diagnose the disease and prescribe the treatment. It would look like the diagnosis and the prescription of the treatment are wrong.
And when you analyze the situation on the ground and the recent happenings, there are some politicians who are talking of a risk of a greater escalation, a risk of more violence that will not only be occurring within the Anglophone regions, but which will spill over not only to localities along the border between the northwest and the west region, the southwest and the littoral region, but which will spill further into Anglophone Cameroon.
Yes, into French Cameroon.
Into French Cameroon.
Correct. What we should realize is that, forget about, just step out of it a little bit and look and stand out and look at Cameroon sitting down there. You will notice that we have problems in the north, we have problems in the east, we have problems in the northwest and southwest, and we have some other problems that are brewing in the west, in the western region, littoral, and these other areas. There is some general anger that is coming up, and you've been seeing the activities of the bus or whatever. So these just go to indicate that there is a fundamental problem that we ought to solve so that happiness can come back in the country. And then just talking on the TV and saying this or that, this communicate, that communicate, that's not the problem. The problem is that there is a problem that we are not solving.
And while the problem is not being solved, while the situation is degenerating further,
yeah.
The government, notably the Minister of Territorial Administration, continues accusing non-governmental organizations, international non-governmental organizations, of plans to destabilize Cameroon, and this time around associating some media organs, including Equinox Radio and Television, to the allegations of plans to destabilize Cameroon and threatening to shut them down.
Well, I'm in a social media group where there are some professors who were exchanging, and they seem not to be very happy with you at Equinox for one reason or the other. And what the professor was saying was that, as an example, he was saying that in France, all news comes from one channel, from one source, and is distributed to the very places, so everybody is an echoing box, and they expect that in Cameroon we should also copy from France and get everybody to echo. And then I was asking him, are people not allowed to think? Is thinking a crime? Is people expressing their own ideas, is it a crime? I said, as long as they are not saying anything that can put the security of the nation in order, let's listen to what others are saying. And people just have different ways of thinking. And then someone was saying, of course, when you go to America, CNN is saying one thing, and then there's other media house that say some other things. But what at the end of the day, we are dealing with human beings, and God gave us the capacity to think and think differently, even when we see a problem. But it doesn't matter what you say. If you look at the whole thing, it's an issue of truth and lies fighting. It's an issue of a clash of two kingdoms, a kingdom of light and the kingdom of darkness, and this has been there since the time of Jesus Christ till today.
The truth and lies coming from where?
Well, there's the truth. There's the kingdom of darkness and the kingdom of light. The kingdom of light, we are talking about truth. The kingdom of darkness, it's the evil one. So each time, the human person has the evil and the good living in him, so you have these clashes, let alone talking about different individuals. So we are in camps that are led by these two spiritual forces, so there's always that clash. But the light always wins.
And in the light of what you're seeing, the government thinks that the international non-governmental organizations and some media organs make up part of the what you call the kingdom of darkness, where lies
it doesn't matter what they think.
False information is being published here and there in reports, facts, inflated figures, inflated and so on.
No, at the end of the day, if they accuse and say the international community is lying, at the end of the day, the international community might say, okay, we'll want to come in and then do our own investigations, and at the time, then everybody will know the truth. The truth can never hide. It doesn't matter what you are saying. So if the government is saying that the international bodies are lying, fine and good, but sooner or later, because let's not forget that, of course, let's say one thing, Cameroon is a sovereign nation, and then you can do your business the way you want. But in as much as you are a sovereign nation, you are independent, but there's interdependence, and you are also dependent. So it doesn't matter, we say all those things, but when it comes to money, we go begging, and then we are all over the whole place begging and so on. But when people are saying do this like this so that you don't have to be begging, we don't listen to that. But the bottom line is that we will have to change our management strategies, otherwise we'll be digging ourselves a deeper grave. We have to sit up, because it doesn't matter, in as much as we are arguing about who is right, who is wrong, more people are dying, more soldiers are dying, more Anglophones are dying, be they Amber or not, more civilians, children, women. There's no reason for anybody to die. The bottom line is that we should sit down and solve these problems once and for all, instead of running around in circles blaming people.
Solving the problem.
Yeah.
How?
Well, even before we had the national dialogue, we talked about it long ago. I had looked in the crystal ball and said that the solution to the problems in Cameroon, including the Anglophone problem, is a confederation breaking the nation into two confederal states, West Cameroon and East Cameroon. Then you come within each confederal state and break it up into the regions. Okay, the northwest, southwest functioning under the West Cameroon, then the other 8 functioning under East Cameroon, and then you build the capital of East Cameroon on the Ebebda. Then you go in the constitution, change a couple of things, and say what an Anglophone is going to be a president in this nation, and to also say if the Anglophone is too stupid to be a president, we write in the constitution that he is too stupid to be a president, so that Anglophones forget that they can ever be president. We need to state down these things instead of kicking people around. If people are reacting like that, it's because people get the impression that they have been marginalized and kicked around for too long. And when I'm saying marginalized, I'm not the one saying it. The president in France himself, when Mo Ibrahim, said that they have been trying to squeeze Anglophones into a tight corner, but it looks like the more you squeeze them, the more they're hardened or something like that. So we need to change the strategy. If you're trying to do something that doesn't work, change the strategy. And there's no reason anyway to squeeze anybody. Everybody has a right to be a Cameroonian. Everybody has a right to be who he is in this nation. We should only look for a formula that works so that people can do their business without being pushed around. And if you let people express themselves and be part of the development, this country will actually grow. There's no need. Government cannot do everything, and we need to change strategies in this nation.
Doctor, what do you think about a negotiated settlement?
What is a negotiated settlement? I don't understand what it is.
Settlement, in negotiation between the government and those who are standing for separation, Dr. Sako and all the rest.
Well, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but I know one thing. What Ambassador Tigo Nagy is saying is the right. Tigo Nagy is the right thing to do. Let's all, the government and the separatists, sit at table and talk around this thing and come to this point where you see how you can live together and do things in a way that everybody feels comfortable in their house. Because if people had taken up arms and have become very aggressive, is because of this thing where you don't want people to be themselves, where you don't give people their share of the bread, and you think that others have to be kicked around as slaves. That's the only problem. I said it was an issue of marginalization. So let us come to a place where we recognize each other, where there is truth, where there is love, where there is respect, and where there is merit. And once you do that and you put in place a confederal system where people can be and you are over there, then you have some common things that you talk about, then there will be peace. And I would take advantage of being here again to say that, please look, when Mr. Tibo Nagy is talking about, when he uses the word decentralization, it's not in the same context as it's used by the Cameroon government. And I was explaining...
He said it stands for a unified Cameroon.
Yes.
And that the government should be more serious with the issue of a genuine decentralization, a genuine peace process.
Correct. Let me explain that word decentralization, because that's where it's causing a problem. Decentralization, according to the Cameroonian government thinks that decentralization is making the 10 regions to become, I don't know what they are, but that is not it, and that will not solve the Anglophone problem. Anglophones say, the minimum the Anglophones were asking was, let's go back to the 1961 situation. Now, but if we were to go back there and change the federation into a confederation, it would be better, because those terms have matured over time. And then look at this whole thing again, and then recraft the whole nation so that everybody feels at home. It would work. Now, when the Europeans and the Americans are using the word decentralization, it's the opposite of one thing. We are now we are very centralized. It's a centralized government. What is written in the books is one thing, but the way we function is centralized. So decentralization means give power and money and opportunities to the periphery to be able to solve their problems. And in doing so, they know of federation, they know of confederation. So when he is saying decentralized, he means federation or confederation. We now need to go, probably the Swiss talks, to actually sit down and find out if it's a confederation, how are we going to do it so that it works. That is the thing. So please, my Anglophone brothers who are everywhere, stop insulting Chief Minister, or that His Excellency Tibo Nagy. Just please stop insulting him. You are shooting yourself in the foot. And to say that this international organization, just because they are seeking for the truth and seeking for the way forward, they are destabilizing the country, is a story for another day.
Dr. Nick Ngoyam, thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today.